I don't know. Let me read her thing. But I got to tell you about this though. Let me read her text and see what she says here. It was good, but I didn't get none. She said, but I didn't get none. I had to leave the show around 8 as I was walking into the hair salon. Tried to text this last night, but was so tired that I fell asleep in the middle. Oh, she's in Michigan with her mom.
Oh,
Okay, that's
happy
good.
Mother's Day, Erica's mom.
Yeah,
Thank
happy
you.
Mother's Day, everybody. Happy
Yeah.
Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Look, I gotta tell you about this. So y'all close your ears. I didn't get to finish telling Stephanie about my drama. So sometimes your name shows up as Steph and sometimes as
Yeah,
Stephanie.
I thought it was Steph from you. I don't put Steph.
Yeah, I never changed it. It just shows up that way.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I noticed that the other day when it said Steph. I was like, okay.
Yes, we are talking about you, Erica. Yes. So good morning. But
Good morning.
close your ears because I got to tell Stephanie about something. So last night I was having such a good day yesterday. My meeting went well yesterday morning. All of these people were pledging for some fundraisers that we were doing. So I'm just jamming with the meeting. And so then when I got up from the meeting, I was thinking to myself, I said, well, I'm going to go in here and take a nap. But then I thought,
Nice.
I was like, but you know what? I need to go and work in my yard. And I was like, but it's cold outside.
It was
And I
cold.
was like, but bundle up. So I put on a turtleneck and then I put on a hoodie and I put on these thick pants and my raggedy tennis shoes and I went outside and I worked outside from noon up until 7 o'clock. And by the time
Nice.
I got finished, my yard was looking really good because I've been putting down fertilizer and just working on my plants and stuff. And because last year I planted a bunch of hostas and tulips and all of this stuff that would come back. So all of that is looking good. Plus I put in some other little flowers. So it's starting to look really good, right? So I'm just proud of myself. I come in at 7 o'clock and I'm just singing. I told that Amazon device in there to open up classic soul barbecue radio, right? Which is
Okay.
my jam. And I'm just around the house singing one song after another, after another. It's a Pandora station,
Okay.
classic soul barbecue. And so I'm just jamming and I'm having a really good time making some salmon and a big old salad. I had me an Angry Orchard. So I'm singing and I'm dancing, I'm having a good time. And then my phone rings. And it's one of my girlfriends that I have been friends with for, let's say, 30 years. And I'll, oh, so, okay, so let me put a bookmark in that for a second. I would tell you that when I read Anatomy of the Spirit years ago, I started to look at people totally different. I looked at everything in life totally different because this informs how you see people, right? And so for me, anytime I see stuff going on in people's life, I'm always looking at it like whatever dis-ease is manifesting, it is a byproduct of something that's up in
Well,
here,
yeah,
right?
an alignment, a
Yes,
disalignment.
yes. And so so I'm confessing here. So when I see somebody that's overweight, I gotta, and I'm overweight by definition. But I look at that weight as there's a mental a cause or something that's causing that on a mental level. If I see somebody who is dealing with arthritis. I never look at it like, oh, that's just runs in the family. I look at it like, okay, that's a symptom of something else. Everything. I'm like that with everything. I just, and part of me is that you can't, as much as people want to say like, no, this is heredity, or no, this is just, I always just be like, yeah, thinking, okay, okay, right? But that's in my heart, I believe that it's caused by something else. So if you got COPD, or if you got other stuff, right, it's something else, especially if it's something that developed later, right?
Right. You didn't come into the planet with it.
Right. So this particular girlfriend, when she was here, she used to have, or she always had allergies, but her allergies were like, lightweight stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's really like, she's really very headstrong. So we would have like, if we get into an argument, it'd go on for days because she couldn't let stuff go. It would be like she's gotta always win, right? And I would just give you an example, because we didn't have major arguments, because friends don't necessarily have major arguments. But so say for instance, she wanted to go into this gay club downtown. And so I went in there with her because she wanted to go in there. And I was like, I go in there for about 5 minutes and I said, okay, let's go. And so I walked out and I went and I sat in my car. So she came back and she's slamming the door. I wanted to go in there and I was like, yeah, I'm scared that I'm gonna run into somebody I know. That's not my set. So I feel as if I am going in there and I am spying on people.
Okay.
It's not me. It's not my set. And so she is sitting there and gotta go through. We sat in that car for 2 hours arguing about the doggone club. And finally I was like, look, you are not gonna convince me. So we need to just say agree to disagree kind of thing, right? Because that's what I was like, just agree to disagree. So that was kind of how our stuff used to go. We used to just she just wouldn't let something go, just relentless. So anyway, so I know she's like that. So anyway, she ended up getting a divorce from a guy. I was also friends with her husband. She got a divorce from him, and we used to all think he was just awesome, wonderful. But for some reason, she divorced him. I mean, this is a whole lot of history. Anyway, so after a while, she went from, doing all of this wild stuff. And then she decided to call up a guy who she was in love with in college. He left his wife, who was pregnant at the time, and moved here with her.
Oh.
And ever since, it has been a roller coaster ride.
It has.
So she has, now she has some chronic health conditions. So last night when my phone rang and I picked it up, I was picking it up thinking, okay, let's see, right? Because I'm singing and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I told the girl to pause. I'm in the middle of singing a song. I'm having such a good time. And so she calls me up and she was like, I need to talk through something. And I'm thinking, okay.
Here we go.
And girl, she got me caught up in her drama. And because of my response, like, girl, is this really the mountain you want to die on? Yes.
Yes, and I want you to take me up there. No.
So I told her, I finally said to her, I said, you know what? I said, I don't have a dog in this fight.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? I was like, it's not my drama. I said, I'm telling you that I think it sounds silly, right? I think that I said, you really must be tired. You must be stressed. I said, just give yourself some space and think about this later. Just, but I was like, this is really, I said, this ain't my fight, right? Oh my, but God, I can't believe a friend would. I was like, after 30 years now, you questioning my friendship. I was like, so girl, now I got pissed. Oh, and I was like, and finally I was just like, one of the things I think they ought to develop an app for a hang up. Because I was like, you can't even slam the phone down. It's like, and it doesn't have the impact. But it's just like one of those things where I'm like, it's disturbing to my peace. I was having such a good evening. And then all of a sudden, I'm caught up in somebody else's stuff. And I'm just like, I hit the reset button. And then when I sat down, I was like sitting there I'm still like,
Right.
That goes. And so I thought to myself, okay, this is my meal. I need to get back to, I was like, telling that woman, okay, resume play so that I can now get back into my head space, blow this off and let it go. Because sometimes, and this is just what we've been talking about, right? It's all of the stuff. And if you get so emotionally caught up in that, in other people's drama, that's what Prentice Mumford was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing yourself to get caught up in somebody else's cyclone. And I think that that's one of the things that all of us need to learn how to do is how to put that stop, right?
Check in on your own peace. You have to check in and guard it with all diligence.
Yes.
Check in on your peace and guard it with all, and I think even communicating or introducing that language to the person who is the vessel to disrupt the peace, helping them to understand the language of, oh, I'm not willing to lose my peace over this right here. I'm not willing to relinquish my peace over here. Let me share with you what was happening before this phone rang.
Yeah. Because she had just pulled me right into the drama. I was like, really? Are you really having, to the point where she done threatened to burn down her own house? Like, really? And you just gonna pull me into this stuff on, I was just like, and then when she started talking about what a friend would do, Negro, how do you know?
Yeah. Or it could have been an opportunity to say, you know what? I'm in peace right now. No disrespect. You can join me over here because I got to shut this down like right now. Oh, my phone is ringing. I gotta go. Like something else is calling me, and it's not this. But at the same time, you want to be a friend.
But ultimately, and that's exactly what I did. Ultimately, I said, look, I am telling you that I don't have a dog in this fight. This ain't my stuff. I said, before you called, I was jamming, I was eating. I told you I was, that I was sitting down to dinner. I said, I'm not with this tonight. I am not with this tonight. And I just hung up. That little red dot. Done. And then get back in my own headspace. and just really. But the other thing about that is that I know that there are some people that dwell in that space all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, and you wonder why you have, and sometimes these things force you, hopefully, maybe, it's these options or these points at which you can make a decision about how you want to live your life,
How you
right?
want to show up? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, so if this is your exit plan, and that's one of the things I told her. I said, you know what? If you want out, get out, but don't make it about some silly stuff.
Right.
Don't make it about this petty
Right.
stuff.
Tell yourself the truth.
Right.
Now, if you want me to be a friend, I can tell you the truth. And if
Mm-hmm.
you can sit in that, if you
Mm-hmm.
can sit in my truth since you called me,
Mm-hmm.
you can take it or leave it, but you can sit in my truth. But let's show up for yourself. But
Um,
I do agree that people live in an energy, a vibration that is comfortable. And I think also, to be fair, um, people assume that everybody lives in that vibration.
Girl, I have been out there working in the soil,
No, in the earth. That's right.
just watching as, I'm just, I'm, I'm, I'm planting. I'm in that mode, and I come in and I answer the phone. Oh, shame on me. Erica gonna say that seemed mean AF.
Yeah. So I was going to comment on that energy. So I think that these things show up in our lives to say, to help us to monitor who we are. Like, so you answered in that space, and when things like that disrupt my peace like that, I feel like spirit and life is sharing with me, yeah, you still got some, you still got some raggedy ends on the side. You guys, because it's coming up for me, so I can be aware. She was just a tool for so that I can be aware. Okay, I see me. I see me
Mhm.
in this. I see we were talking about, it's so cool. We were talking about that, and Carl Jung talks about that, the shadow self. Like, that part that brings up my darkness,
Mhm.
because I know your story, and you bringing this to me, and now you want me to kind of sing this dance, and I can't. But how do I convey this in a manner that says, like I just said, I'm in a really good place right now, and I cannot do this dance with you. Like, I love you to a million pieces. I had to practice, and that's here. Look, I know there's many evangelists. Do not take me wrong, and all you moms and kids. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that is the one thing you learn in being a parent, is that you got your fire alarm kid. Mom, we don't have no toilet paper. What? You just came in here like the house was on fire because we don't have no toilet paper. Like, you just start to you start to learn to be like, okay, I'm not going to be rattled right now. You just get the practice, because you got other people's mess in your space all the time as a parent, and you
Uh-huh.
gotta, you have to self-regulate, show no emotion, no internal flames going off on the inside. And so maybe she showed up just to challenge our awareness, challenge the stuff that you've learned. It's like, it's always like, okay, you got that information, you took that class, all right, let's see.
Yeah,
Get on the bike. Let's get on the bike and roll. Let me see you
yeah,
roll.
yeah. But but that was one of the things that I was really clear about, was as I started getting engaged, I get, and I know I did take offense to that. Now gonna turn it on me like I'm not being a good friend. I was like, oh, hold up. And I was very clear. I'm gonna hang up this phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because this becomes my day, my time to either relinquish or to get caught up in your cyclone.
Mhm.
And so I just chose reset. Reset. That little red button was like reset.
Yeah, it should have been.
That hang up
It
is
should
reset. Um, yeah, I should have closed my ears during that story.
very good.
You shouldn't have answered the phone until you were ready for her. I didn't know it was
You
gonna be
didn't know
drama.
that was
Yeah.
coming.
She almost no, 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 no. Sometimes our conversations are really pleasant. Um, I should have known once she told me
Started talking.
that he had left and she needed to get this out, or she needed to
Oh,
work through it. I should have known then that it was drama, but it's not always drama. Sometimes we have a marathon conversations, like, for a few hours. I could just sit down and just go there. All of my friends, especially people who I call my friends, have a certain degree of wonderful about them, or else they wouldn't be my friend.
mm-hmm.
Um, but just as intense as her light is,
Exactly.
that darkness can be.
And that's all of our stories.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there
Mm-hmm.
are some people that shine such a freaking bright light into the world, and they come in there because it's so juicy to see, people who act with reckless abandon when it comes down to love and friendship and sharing and being transparent about their
Love
feelings
that.
and all of
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. That is just so beautiful. But man, when it comes out of the other end, whoo, just
Whether it comes out or you learn their story, you're like, oh well, that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, it's so true. It's
yeah.
so true.
And the funny thing is that I've been there for most of her story. So
Well, it sounds like it.
I used to sit there and say, wait a minute, like let's set the record straight. I'm the truth teller in all of this because I was there, right? Don't give me that because I know better. And it's so funny because sometimes when you got those long friendships, they can get that off with somebody that just came on the scene a few
Yeah.
years ago and don't know the history. But I was there. I was there. I was there. I was there. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was your work through person. I know. And there's a not, I mean, I sit there and I tell people all the time, I said, I don't have a great memory, but about stuff like that, I was there. I know. So you can color it a different way, you know? And so even during that, it was just like, yeah, let's bring it back to the truth here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, so I, and if you don't, if you don't want me to remind you of your stuff, don't tell it to me in the first place, because I will surely bring it up and say, like, let's consider, let's look at this from this perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And how you do some things, I tell people, how you do some things is how you do everything. I had I'm gonna tell you this and then I'm gonna let this go. I had another friend who, good friend of mine, but people used to always tell me about, there was this dark side. He had this dark side. And I'm just sitting up there saying, oh, y'all, I get that, but y'all don't see his light, because I saw his light. And so they always telling me, you better watch out. Yeah, that's not my relationship with him. Oh, man. And when he opened up that can on me after all of those years, he opened up a can on me. And I was like thinking to myself, like, ooh, yeah, sometimes is sometimes people relate to you totally different than they do everybody else. But if they have that in them, like if they got that piece in them, man, it comes out at some point. So, yeah.
I'm sorry that was your experience, and I'm
Uh,
glad you found your way back.
yeah. Okay.
But I could tell that it's still with you this morning.
Yeah, well, so I came in here this morning thinking about what we are about to talk about not only, so I think I'm trying to figure out if I finished up this level 3 yesterday because you had gotten off.
Yeah.
And so this whole thing about honoring yourself was resonating with me. And to talk about this book and really trying to um, process the way that we think, not only about ourselves, but about the illnesses that we develop and why.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and sometimes we create our own sickness, right? And if we are in the process of, or unconsciously in the process of creating these toxic lives, these toxic situations, we create them. And then because people are not looking at themselves through this prism of thought, you have things that develop and you never get out from under that because you never take responsibility for this. And so that's why I'm always talking about we can clean up our timeline. What we recognize in this moment, we can retroactively start to heal, and sure enough,
It's so true.
yeah, sure enough, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened since, since all of the stuff with, her divorce, and then, this man, and then, the ex-wife having, her, and then all of this stuff over the years. And so until we make amends in the present and then look at, like, it's kind of like a runaway train careening down the track, and you done knocked out and took apart all of this stuff. And if we never acknowledge it doesn't, it's not like it dissipates or goes away. It's that now I need to come to terms with what I've done, and how do I make peace? How do I find that peace in the now moment so then I can work? And a lot of times, one of the things that I do, and I know a lot of other people do, we pray about stuff. Oh, God, heal me from this, right? Oh, we want to pray, but we don't want to deal with our wreckage. We think that we should just kind of be, have that rapture moment right there in the midst of our mess, and just, and then we still got all of this stuff
And
that
even
we
if we don't take care of our the things that we leave in our wake, and even if we don't fix it, we cannot any longer know, just from even studying this book, but we can no longer imagine that it doesn't have some impact. There is a price that is being paid, and it is being paid in our bodies, and it's being paid in our thought life. It's calcifying areas of the brain. So
Mhm.
there is stuff to be done. So you may forgive yourself, and I'm all for that. And you may say that happened in the past. I'm gonna leave my past behind. But then the self-examined person has to at least say, how did this impact? And then take ownership of it. It's almost like the 12 steps. We got to take ownership of the impact of who I was, what I thought, the decisions I made. There is an impact that happens. There is always this impact that is happening, this domino effect that is happening in a space that is so much more vast than we are, and we think we just kind of floating like the butterfly effect. We think we just doing what we're doing, and only I'm impacted, and only it's impacting me, and only me. And the reality is that it's not true.
Right. Right.
That is not true. And you can forgive yourself, you can pick up, you can get sober, you can do life, but the things that have happened back there to you, because of you, as you, whatever, they're there. You don't have to go back there and try to pick it up and put it back in your bag, but at least acknowledge it. Be aware.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware that this is probably showing up because I asked for it or I created it because you did.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just thought that that would be like a really impactful way to make the shift from, you know, so now what we're doing is we're moving into internal power versus the external.
Solar plexus.
So yeah, so where we were talking about friendships, relationships, family, all of that stuff before, now we make a shift into this thing called internal power. And and so for me, yesterday it was that, I'm gonna hang up, right? Because I recognize that I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my energy. I'm responsible for the thoughts that I think. I'm responsible for taking care of this mental house, of my spirit. I'm responsible. And so that's that's one of those moments you take it and you put it.
I thought about that when you were talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you you just take it and you set it to the side, because that is what it is. And it can continue to, it's like one of them things, the foods you done left out, after a while, it can start smelling, and it's like, yeah, we gotta, right, we gotta release that, forgive it, and let it go, because that's not where my head is. So good morning.
Okay.
And Erica has said, yeah, there are aspects of that story that affected my vibe this morning. So, and
The
sometimes
clinician in me is like, tell me more about that. I get you though, Erica. I get you.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah. So, okay. So anyway, there. So, Father, Mother God, in this moment, we give thanks for this day. We give thanks for the sharing here. We give thanks for your light, love, and wisdom of the highest. I forgive and I release all those activities of the last day. I accept the good. I reject that which is not for me. And I come totally clean into this moment here and now. I bless it as so, and so it is. Amen. 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 All right. So anything else? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I yeah. You
That's my
good?
part Mother Day vibe. I'm very good.
Oh girl, so it is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you. Mother of all mothers, just
You.
light of lights. Happy Mother's Day. You
Hey.
got anything good planned today?
I am going to get my hair done. I'm not doing it myself. Whoop, whoop. So I'm paying somebody to do it. And I said, can you do my hair? This was about 3 weeks ago. Can you do my hair on May 9th or whatever? And she was like, you are aware that that's Mother's Day. I was like, do you want my money? And she said, I'll work if you don't mind, because she's a mom too. She was like, I'll work if you don't mind. I was like, I don't mind. My children work retail. They're cooks in some downtown restaurants. And so today is a very busy day for them. And I'm used to that because they've always had that experience on Mother's Day. So we do something later, or we do. I was raised Jehovah's Witness. So the holidays are if I'm not the person that's entertaining and hosting, holidays aren't as impactful.
Uh-huh.
And I got boys, so honey, you have to let go of all that mushy stuff
Right.
because they're like, what's up, mom?
Yeah.
But they usually typically work on this day, and it's very mandatory. Even in a pandemic, Mother's Day has been a very busy, has always been a story for them.
Mhm.
That but they call and we do stuff. But I'm going to yoga,
Okay.
which I'm excited about, and then I'm going to get my hair done.
Uh-huh.
And that to me that is just the most loving, amazing thing that I could do for myself. And the boys will probably give me that money back. But yeah, because I'm always doing my own hair. So it's just nice to be able to do that. And then I have a friend of mine that is cooking dinner and dessert. And it was still kind of chilly out. We were going to go for a long bike ride later in the evening, but it's kind of chilly. We'll see what we do. So I got a pretty busy day planned. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you know what? And I'm gonna have to I'll talk to you about, because during the summertime there's a lot of places that does yoga outside or at the
Oh, that would be nice.
someplace. And so I have to invite you sometimes to meet up, and we could do yoga outside together. That would be
That would
just
be nice. Yeah, there's some place in Van Aiken, isn't there? The lady that there's a yoga lady. Have you
yeah.
been over there?
I have seen them. So let me say this. I go to I've had like a lot of different yoga instructors that I go to, but my village yoga is a black owned sister girl kind of thing, and they had this mission. There was a woman, I forget what her name was, but she had a mission to get like so many hundreds or so many thousands of black women certified yoga instructors.
Oh,
And so this my village yoga kind of has that same kind of mission, where they are, they have instructors who go through classes. And so sometimes I'm even taking classes from people who are learning or in training to be, they got to get so many hours
nice.
in.
Yeah.
And so, some of them are doing, extended learning, Kundalini, learning African, the African stuff as far as yoga is concerned, because they do those Egyptian poses.
Yes, those are intense, but they feel good.
God, yeah. So that's the kind of posse that I kind of hang out with when it comes down to yoga. I try to follow them, and
I've never heard of them. Okay. I'll
yeah,
look
yeah,
into that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's they're amazing. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays I do it right now online, but we're going to be back outside shortly, and in the grass, and
Yeah. Oh, good.
I
Yeah.
will definitely see if you want to hang out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
So that's my day.
live, huh?
I said that's my day, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm just chilling.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so internal power. This level 4 of, it says, merging of the emotional power chakra, anahata, anahata, the sacrament of marriage, and the saphira of Tiferet. How do you say it? Tiferet. Hey,
Probably
Anthony
Tiferet.
Howard. Huh?
I said probably Tiferet. Tiferet. The E is probably silent in the middle.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay. So this is it says that these three forces transmit into our system the sacred truth that love is divine power. And one of the things that you know, I love Marianne Williamson, who
I
always says, she was like, yeah, love is the strongest power there is,
believe it.
but hate is more organized.
Ha! That's so
And
good.
thank you, Anthony. Yeah, she says hate is more organized. Hate will have a mission to it. Love is just, it is what it is. But hate
Oh my goodness,
have an
that's so
agenda.
good.
Yeah, it's gonna have an agenda. And so yeah, and so she says that the way that we see it manifested is that people, you know, yeah, they put together and so here, let me because this was one of the things that as we were dealing with and talking about Mother's Day, coming into Mother's Day, I am well aware of all of the studies behind this. What do I want to say? How do I want to say this? Marginalizing women, right? And there has been an entire effort that has been made to make it seem as though that women are and have been subservient or secondary in the scenario. And so, you know, one of the things that I remember hearing was somebody saying, yeah, but you know, God is masculine, or they would say that Jesus was a man. And you know, and I was like, but if you really look at it, man didn't have anything to do with Jesus's birth if you go according to the Bible. You know, that was supposedly an immaculate conception that circumvented this whole idea of the man energy having, you know, having anything to do with it. So even this thing that we call earth, from which we get all that, you know, all that sustains life, we call it Mother Earth because that is also feminine energy. And this transcends language and time. This is back to antiquity. I often tell the story about how women were revered
Mm-hmm.
in antiquity because they were the only thing that bled and did not die.
Hmm.
So, so, so it becomes this thing of also talking about, and we talk about a mother's love versus anything else, because
Yeah.
that is power, that is divine, that is a connectedness that is just, yeah, it is amazing. And so I am appreciating and loving and adoring all mothers. And you know, and there's something to be said about that everybody is mothering something. So
That's it.
so when you come into that space and recognize that there is something wonderful and divine about that process, yeah, that is a sacred space. So love is a divine power. And so we always talk about it, a symbolic, it says this is the symbolic doorway into our internal world. um what did Jesus say about, but if you have not love, but if you have not loved, you're just a
Sounding gong. Second
sounding
Corinthians 7:14.
ah, thank you. Bless your heart. So I love that. So as you look that up, yeah, this is based on that. The whole energy center is the central power point within the human energy system, the symbolic doorway into our internal world. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's First Corinthians 13. Sorry.
Okay.
And it says, if I speak in tongues of men and of the angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong and a clanging cymbal.
Mm-hmm. So if I speak in tongues of man, so, and so, and so that is so, I love that. Right? Because one of the things, there was just something that I was reading earlier today. There is this, there's this wonderful awareness that comes when we know that everything that appears comes from that which does not, right? And so I am constantly telling people that I know that I am surrounded by, embodied by, enlivened by these, the spirits that are with me, that flow through me, that speak in my ear, that touch my heart. I recognize that. But if I'm only speaking out of my flesh, without that ability to connect into something bigger than myself, if
Ear
I'm
beyond the ear.
just that, yeah, then I am speaking with tongues of man, right? But I know that I have access to something more, and each and every one of us do. Woo! Yeah, each and every one of us do. And so I don't want to be just that, that but then there is that analogy, because I got a gong in my basement. There is this thing too. One of the things that I read a long time ago is that this is, in a space, sound is an important carrier or conveyor of things. And so I love to clap. I love sometimes to break the silence, to kind of get, because it moves things, it energizes things. So all of that becomes a part of how I process the fact that I am saying, hey, wake up, y'all. Let's do this. Let's get this thing going. Let's be in that space and that energy. So the energy of this chakra communicates to us knowledge that love is the only authentic power, because one of the things it says in I Come as a Brother is that a lot of people have this idea that love is something that you do. Eric Fromm talks about it as if we have this notion that love is really an activity of something that you show. But in I Come as a Brother, that is by
B.
Bartholomew, huh?
I said, love is a B. It's a B. Go ahead. I was just
Okay, yeah.
talking out loud to myself.
And yeah, and so in the book, it says that love is what you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, it's not what you do, it's what you are. And so when you recognize that you are love, then that is this knowing that my truth is not the stuff that I'm trying to prove to you. My truth is that I'm standing in this, and I'm gonna let all of the, as Brene Brown calls it, the armor, because what she says is that we armor up, that we try to block love, we try to block our authenticity, we try to block all of this stuff, and so that's the armor that we put on. But to know that you are love means that we let that armor fall away, and we come into the truth of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We come into the truth of who we are. And so the truth is not all of this other stuff. The truth is simply what we're being in the moment. Mm. So not only our minds and our spirit, but our physical bodies require love to survive and to thrive. We violate this energy when we act towards others in unloving ways. And so some people define that idea of sin in that particular way. right? When we act in loveless ways, when we act without love, then that is what some people would call sin. So,
And then, so do I act in love from a place that benefits me, or do I act in love in a place that benefits the other? So if I know that your love language is, um, acts of service, then I demonstrate love from a place of where you can see it administered, as opposed to, well, my love language is, how I view love or how I do love. I think that it causes us to, in my imagination, no, I do the work. I do this work every day. So I know that love, that the demonstration of love or the offering of love is being mindful of the first three external powers of we are all one, I honor you, and then that last one is, what is that last one? Honoring oneself. And then the heart chakra can then be messed around with, or we can operate in that space. But then I get to honor you where you are, meaning that I get to figure out, how do I love you best so that you experience the love? How do I love you so you get to experience that love? Because we can say all day, I love, I love, I love, I love, I love. But if I'm not loving in a space that connects us together, that doesn't demonstrate those first three chakras, am I loving?
so, so here's I guess, so like I hear what you're saying, because there was, I know that people have these ways. Some people demonstrate love through, like you're talking about the five love languages, right? And so I know that some people demonstrate their love through, I've had guys who think that I'm working, I'm working, I'm working, I'm out on the grind, I'm making this money, I'm doing so I can provide for you. And
Mhm.
my thing is like, I would much rather have you spend some time with me,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
And so there's this tug of war, because they're saying that they're doing this for me,
Yeah.
and I'm saying, you know, no, you doing that for you, dude, because I'm telling you what I want. I want you to show up.
Hmm.
I want you be here, right? Get here. Get here. Just here. Right where I am. Time is what I want. And so you got this tug of war. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying what I need, and you're giving me what you want.
And so even though that person may have a love, but if it's not dim, I think that's the sounding gong. I guess is what has come to me, is that the sounding gong is like, if I can't be the love or the fruit or the nourishment for my brother, then is it, my love, I have to know that love is not just me saying, oh, I love you, or oh, I cleaned the house, or because if that doesn't minister love to you, um then I'm not saying that it's not love, but I'm saying it's not the love that is a medicine to the heart, to the next heart, and the next heart, and the next heart. And I think these three energies that we just learned about help us to remind us. It gave me a different perspective that first, in order to be moving in the energy space of my heart space, I got to realize that we are all one. I got to realize that I owe honor. And then I got to realize that I have to have honor and love for myself. And in that mixture comes my curiosity to, like, what do you need to feel love right now? What do you need to feel love right now? Do you need me just to be patient? well, and then, the boldness to ask, what do you need to feel love right now? What's up with, what do you need to feel love, and to activate that love energy? Because anyway, I don't even know why I opened my mouth to say that, but it just need to say it, because I'm just thinking like, well, divine power and love. I wonder. I just, yeah. Anyway,
So,
I just want to say that.
I mean, yeah, and I don't know, because for me, when I think about it, if I am saying to myself that I am love, it's not. So it could be that you understand that through my actions,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, I am in a space where I just am, just in radiating that. And so how do we, I think that comes into play if there's some, if our stuff isn't matching up, if it isn't resonating. And then my question would be like, okay, do we go back and know that this is like, that we actually have something here, that we actually are a good fit for one another, because I think that sometimes we're trying, as a culture, we are used to trying to fit a round peg into a square hole, because because we just don't, we can't sit in that space of what's right for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
We People don't sit in that space
Mm-hmm.
and wait. And so now we are busy trying to figure out, how do I shave off the edges of this other so that they fit into the round hole that I have.
Yeah,
And
but
that
I mean,
creates
like
issues.
the situation that I'm in right now, with my father and stuff like that. It's like showing up in a space of love in the midst of something that is so intense. Um, and wanting to show up as love when I know that I love this hate. Hate is present, not intentionally right now. People are hurting. They're hurting. And so that energy of hate, the energy of one is like, no, you are not our one. And so standing in that space of love, in the energy of love, I promise you, this whole lesson has come at a perfect time, because there is an illusion that we're not one, and we'll get into that space as opposed to stepping into the space that, okay, we are. She's my sister. I can't, just like I was saying earlier, you can't act like that didn't happen, because it's going to show up. So she's my sister. We honor each other. I owe her honor. I owe myself honor, and then I love myself. And so opening up my heart chakra space is going to require me to stand in some stuff that is probably uncomfortable. And can I illuminate that energy to the world, to this person, to these places, with that energy that's going on inside of myself. And when I was reading this about love is divine power, one of the greatest power, like I think you were saying, Marianne Williamson said that, and I was saying, in order to be so sure of that, we can't do that without those first three energies being intact. We cannot stand in that space of love, the power of it, without having those first three chakras or energy systems alive and awaken. And maybe that's why our society falls off in this area, because we have the external powers, we haven't mastered them.
Well, so the word that came to me, so part of this is out of A Course in Miracles, but the word that came to me was vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
A willingness to be vulnerable, right? And to know that, so in A Course in Miracles, it says is that whenever you feel attacked, it is because you have first attacked yourself by believing that you you can be hurt, by believing that you can be assailed, I think is the word that they use. And so for me, that always reminded me that, that at times I'm tempted to believe that whatever is coming, the anticipation of the pain, sometimes that becomes something that I need to struggle against, is the anticipation of pain, and know that is kind of like I do when I go to the doctor. It is, I recognize that the process may be painful, but it is also for my highest good. So let me not defend against it. Let me just brace myself and know that on the other side of this, if I don't put up the resistance, that this is all going to work out right. I think about it in terms of how I always talk about that that debrising a wound. It's about to hurt. You know how when you put alcohol on something that's trying to clean it off or something like that, you bracing yourself because you know it's gonna hurt. But without that, you won't heal right.
Right.
So my thing is let me not shield, because this is how we do. We go to the doctor and we gonna like, no, I'm not gonna let you see it. No, I'm not gonna, no, it hurts, right? That's how we are, especially when we kids. It hurts. You can't touch it because it hurts, but you can't fix it unless you let somebody touch it. Yeah. So it is a part of that same process, I think. When we're trying to deal with this, is like we gotta let our guard down, and sometimes letting your guard down means that I see you, and I see the pain, and and show me what you need in order for us to get beyond this. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we gotta, it's that vulnerability sometimes that causes or speeds along that healing. So, and I kind of want to finish out this paragraph and just kind of get off of here. Yeah, because I got some thinking that I need to work through, and to get prepared for my 1 o'clock. When we harbor negative emotions towards others or towards ourselves, or when we intentionally create pain for others, we poison our own physical and spiritual systems. Now, sometimes we don't know that we're doing that.
No.
Yeah, we're not conscious of the fact that we are doing that. And sometimes we do it because we're in pain ourselves.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so, yeah, so by far the strongest poison to the human spirit is the inability to forgive oneself or another person. So, it disables a person's emotional resources. I love that. Emotional resources. You have emotional resources, right? The challenge inherent within this chakra is to refine our capacity to love others as well as ourselves and develop our power of forgiveness. So, so I am going to leave it there if that's good. Do you
No, I'm gonna chew on this so I can get clear.
okay,
Because
okay.
I think that what's happened for me is that because I've read so far ahead,
Mm-hmm.
I'm connecting the dots from ahead. Like I'm having to go back. I'm not allowing myself to sit in this because I'm so far ahead, and I'm like I want to jump to it because so many things are like coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when I'm reading that, and so I'm trying to articulate not just this small portion, but the connectedness from the rest of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I'm just thinking out loud. And of course, I'm in a situation right now where love, I'm standing in such a vibrational energy that love has to win. So this is sweet to me right now. This is like my breakfast
Mm-hmm.
today.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So I need to end this. Can I call you right back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to end this, and I'm going to bless you all to have an amazing day. And happy Mother's Day to those of you who are mothers. And I bless you. And light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. And the presence of God watches over you wherever you are. God is, and all is.
Yes, all is well.
All right. I'll be on here live at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
So for now, have an amazing day. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.